You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Randy. In the future, Patrick's dad from Make Dad Read Comics will figure out that I actually am a huge Bone fan, but I was playing a long game in my insidious plot to turn Patrick's dad into a true comic book defending comic book reader.
This is Melanie, and in the future, scientists will find some unknown exotic manner to fuel time machines, and the BBC will sue them for calling it a TARDIS.
And this is Jesse. In the future, when you buy a board game or a card game, you won't receive an instruction book. Instead, you'll get a copy of the app version of the game, which will include a tutorial of how to play it, and you'll just play that on your phone instead. I mean, like that's our imitating life, because I have had this game. Is it Onirim? I've had it forever. It's basically like it's basically solitaire with like a labyrinth theme to it almost. And I just like, I don't know how to play this game. Like, these rules are confusing, but they're really not. I just loaded up an app version of it this weekend. Learned how to play it in like 15 minutes, and now I just play it on my phone.
Yeah. That's kind of awesome.
So actually,
the tutorial. Yeah.
In the past,
welcome to the Grawlix podcast. As usual, this is episode 46. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do a little bit of a TV talk this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just not gonna bury the lead. Just tell you right up front.
Yep, we're gonna talk about superhero TVs.
Yeah, superhero TVs, televisions with powers.
Yeah, like, was it Prince Robot the Fourth?
Exactly.
Yeah, he rocks.
He has a TV.
Yeah.
I need to read
on
more.
His head.
I need to read more.
His head is a TV.
Yep.
He's like a Teletubby, kind of.
Kinda.
Yeah.
There's this really weird anime. It was a movie, but it wasn't quite full length. It was kind of but it wasn't quite a short film. I don't know. It was weird length. Anyway, called Dead Leaves, and I think it was American produced, but it was definitely like maybe American funded, but Japanese produced.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very weird. But one of the two main characters was a guy with a TV for a head, and so he strikes me very much as, well, I guess, was it Prince Robot, whatever?
The third.
Yeah, he struck me very much as like that character, but
yeah,
it's a weird anime. It's kind of worth watching if you're an adult.
Right.
If you're not, don't stay away. And nobody's heard of it, so in-house news, I guess. What's going on? What's been happening? It seems like there's some stuff that we were just talking about in the pre-show that we needed to mention, and I cannot remember what any of it is.
We have a Spotify playlist.
Yeah,
we all have our own Spotify, but with our powers combined.
Our powers combined.
We are the Captain Planet of Spotify.
Yeah, this is just a random stray thing, and it's not necessarily comic book related or anything like that. But yeah, well, I know we all use Spotify fairly often, mm-hmm. and so I was like, hey, this would be fun for Grawlix, and each of us picked about 8 tracks of mm-hmm. stuff that we are into, whether it's just recent stuff we've been listening to or some of it, it's not necessarily like our all-time favorites lists or anything. It's just some cool stuff we've been jamming on,
mm-hmm.
and put together a playlist. And by the time this episode goes up, it'll be live. And if you go to grawlixpodcast.com, I'll have a list of the songs and who picked what, because otherwise it'll just be a jumble of an awesome playlist to listen to.
Yeah, mine are the coolest.
Yours are the coolest?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of hard to pick apart who picked what songs, with the exception of a couple that Jesse picked. And then
right.
I had to make extra effort to not have all my songs be like, oh yeah, that's Randy right there. That's Randy's. Yeah. That's totally Randy's pick.
Well,
you'll be able to tell though, for the most part.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's synthy, that's Randy's pick.
Well,
or if there's a guy going, what's he building in there? yeah, I don't know. It's just recommended listening, I guess.
Mhm.
I feel like this would be a fun experiment. Like people should like call us out and be like, "Hey, this is clearly a Kiefer pick," or "This is clearly a Randy pick,"
Oh,
or "This
you're
is
right.
clearly a Melanie pick."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't post a list of who picked what.
Or maybe we'll hold it back and see what people think first, and then let them
Yeah.
know. Then we'll be like, "Ha! Here's the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Were you right?"
Fools! Just preempted. Fools!
No, but I don't know. It might be easy to figure it out because
Like I said, I think
I know which of us listens to MCP Pants, and it's not me.
yeah, there's a few for me and Jesse each that I think are easy to pick out.
Mhm.
Yours might be
Yeah.
trickier.
They're the cool ones.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Been sitting on this playlist for like a month or so.
Mhm.
You guys, okay, so I pitched the idea to both Jesse and Melanie one morning, and before I was home from work that night, they both had like their full playlists and then some ready, and I was like, oh, I should probably put together my playlist.
Yeah.
We don't mess around, Randy. We take you seriously. You're supposed to be the serious one.
That's true.
And it you were always like, "Hey, we should do this," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah," and then I never do. But that was something that's, I already have a giant list of songs that I added because I like them. So I just went and, go and pick some out and toss them at you.
It's easy and fun.
Yes, easy and fun.
And I didn't put any of my actual music on there, so this is not shameless promotion.
Oh,
The thought
Well
had the thought had crossed my mind, and I just spelled it pretty quick because I was like, nope, that seems cheesy.
I'm sorry I didn't pick any of your songs as my song.
Oh, I didn't expect you to. I didn't expect you to.
none of us did. Uh-oh.
I mean, somebody could
Whoops.
have. No,
Whoops,
it's fine,
we're
it's
fired.
fine. I'll have a link, and we'll tweet it out. It'll be easy to find. There will be a link in the show notes for this episode.
Speaking of episodes.
And if you don't like Spotify, whatever.
I wish there were more podcasts on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
I would put Grawlix on there, but it's kind of tricky to get podcasts on Spotify.
Really? Why?
They're selective,
Mm.
which I kind of understand. I think they don't want to necessarily like flood what they have with what is essentially a different medium,
Yeah.
But there are some on there, but there are larger name shows that have like a deal worked out and stuff. So,
Well, why not expand? Because
it's all media. It's all audio. They have like the perfect infrastructure set up, but
it'd be probably smart on their part because from what I understand, they're not really making a whole lot of money on the whole music thing, even though it's great. But the reason everybody's there is because nobody wants to have to pay for it.
mm-hmm.
So
That's probably why they're not interested in podcasts.
That's a good point.
yeah,
Because there's zero money.
Yeah, there's not a lot of money in podcasts.
I mean, maybe there's like probably the ones that are on there make money already. So
Yeah, the big names, they're established, they have advertisers and
I don't know. It just seems like if there's an opportunity to make money off of just having people listen to stuff, I would think it would be podcasts more than music, because with music, don't they have to pay like royalties and stuff?
I mean, they do. It's pretty slim what they actually have to pay. But yeah, but the music is going to draw so many more people than podcasts.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yes, I know.
yeah, how many podcasts do you listen to on the regular?
which is why we have a Spotify list.
On the regular? None.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But you're all up on Spotify.
Yeah, but that's because I can I can listen to that without having to pay attention to it while I do things.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast, if you're not paying attention, then you don't know what's going on, and then you can't do that.
This is true.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
What else we got?
Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah, let's mention Zack Snyder. Traditionally, especially myself, have bashed his directorial skills, but we're not going to do that.
No,
I probably shouldn't even mention it.
you shouldn't.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea how to approach a thing.
I mean, I think being honest about it is fine. I mean, like we haven't been kind, but the news is broken that he's stepping down from Justice League, and it's not for like happy occasions.
No.
No, yeah,
So-
tragedy. So it's not something where I mean, that's worth talking about, though.
We're not happy.
Yeah, that's worth talking about, the Justice League thing.
Yeah.
It honestly, this is an incredible understatement, but that's a huge bummer for Zack Snyder. Obviously, you don't wish that upon anybody. Now, getting kind of cold about things, I guess. It's a little worrisome for Justice League that I was, and I was initially reserved about that anyway. Because anytime a movie changes hands partway through production, it doesn't usually have a positive effect on the end product.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Even if it's Joss Whedon, I mean, I feel like that was like I don't know. I mean, if you're going to grab somebody to make a bad situation better, that's probably not a bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly don't know that this would, I don't know. I mean, like, that's quite a tonal shift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole thing is, even though they are currently working in the same like genre of stuff, superhero stuff and things like that, about polar opposites in terms of like the tone of the stuff they create.
It's like if you put in office carpet and then chunks of shag carpet around it, you could never lay on that floor comfortably.
This is true. This is
Exactly. True. Yeah. Yep. I think she pretty well summed it up.
Now I seen a headline and I didn't click this story because I don't know what I was doing, something else that said Joss Whedon was in some way attached to the project before this whole tragedy happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they were like,
in what capacity?
Maybe they were like,
I bet he was a writer.
Yeah, they were probably like,
yeah,
Joss Whedon, everybody loves you. Help us make this good. That's what they did.
Once upon a time, Joss Whedon was actually attached to a Wonder Woman project, and I was always bummed that didn't happen because I feel like he would have been a good fit for that. So seeing him on this project, like under better circumstances, would make me very happy. But like I feel like he's going to be very I don't know what the word is. He's going to be very held back. It's got to still feel like Zack Snyder's vision for this film is being respected. And I feel like he's going to be under a lot of pressure to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think in this scenario we're going to get Joss Whedon's take on Justice League at all.
Yeah.
Because that's,
But, well, maybe it won't be that bad because they were trying to lighten it up anyway, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they'll meet somewhere in the middle and it'll be decent enough.
Cautiously optimistic, but still like this isn't what anybody wanted.
No, not at all.
So, all right. Well, we addressed it. We talked about it.
Well, when you brought it up in the pre-show, I didn't even think about discussing the actual, like, what makes this a news story for us. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The
Sure.
Justice League movie and what's going to become of that, and what a possible, like, what a director change means for it. So,
Right.
I was just like, oh.
Well, and the fact that we've mentioned him in the past, it's like, well, we probably should address this because we've been very vocal.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, to a point, like, and when I say you, I mean me. If you don't enjoy a person's work or, whatever, have complaints about it, that's not necessarily to be taken on a personal level. And at least for me, I don't extend my complaints about his movies to his personal life.
Yeah.
So like I said at the beginning of all this, I wouldn't wish this on him or anybody. So
Right.
let's talk about TV. So the main shows I'd like to hit are The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, because those both wrapped up just recently, their current seasons. Doctor Who.
Yep.
Okay. And, well, those are the three main shows. I'll probably...
we don't care about those other shows. I'm gonna reference Arrow when we get into Flash.
Okay.
I'll try to steer clear of spoilers, but
I mean, if you're steering clear for us, don't worry about it.
well, I figured you'd feel that way, but yeah, still,
Okay.
just for the sake of it, because
Fair,
who knows?
Fair enough.
Are you guys going? You guys have any plans to catch up ever later, or?
I mean, I guess it's a possibility at some point. For me, I don't see Melanie making a point to go out of her way. That season was and you know, I hear
Oh yeah,
season's
you
better.
guys. Yeah. Oh, it's way better. It's way better.
We
In
dropped
fact,
off
that's-
like a season ago, so
Yeah. I mean,
So
It'd be
before
nice
the
to see
Damien
the-
Dark stuff.
well, yeah,
it was during the Damien Dark stuff.
I didn't
before the
see
conclusion.
Laurel die. I might go back just for that, but other than that,
You're just gonna play that scene over and
okay.
over, loop it.
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Think of Brandon while you do that.
I will.
Think of technology geek Brandon.
I'll think of him and I'll even make that creepy preview noise.
The last two seasons of television have not been kind to Brandon. I'm sorry, Brandon. You just shouldn't love any characters.
Yeah, exactly.
It's clearly the kiss of death.
And somehow he keeps picking the only characters that don't get resurrected over like 3 episodes later.
Oh,
But they get to come back in dream sequences and stuff.
That's true.
yeah.
That's true. Even the characters that are still dead, I've seen on Legends of Tomorrow in at least like 4 different episodes. So
Yeah.
Right. Well, an Arrow.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we watched, I mean, the crossover, that big crossover they did this last season. That's the only Arrow I've watched in a while, episode of
Right.
Arrow. And it wasn't bad. I think I did watch the first episode of this last season out of curiosity, and I kind of enjoyed the tone, but yeah.
I feel like I'm getting into it already. I feel like the season kind of yo-yoed a little bit, but overall it was a much better season of Arrow.
I mentioned this on Twitter, talking to you and Brandon not long ago, but I had read an article where I think it was, what's his name? Greg, the showrunner.
Berlanti, is that right?
Yeah.
That's just off the top of my head, but I feel like that's right.
Specifically, he cited how they handled Felicity and the relationship between Ollie and Felicity in season 3. Did they just wrap up season 4?
Yes, this was
Yeah.
season 4.
He had mentioned that about season 3, and I was kind of like, well, I mean, there's probably more problems, but I think the point is he recognized there were issues in the writing that season, and they did some things that he said they wished that they had not, or
Right.
did not handle things as well as he preferred.
Well, that's big of him because that season, oof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, okay. So since we're on CW stuff, let's start with that. Do you guys want to start with The Flash or Legends tomorrow?
Legends
Let's
tomorrow.
do Legends because it wrapped sooner.
Okay. Did you get a chance to refresh yourself on what had happened, Jesse?
I didn't watch it, but I just reread like a recap of it, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, everything happened in that final episode.
So
It was like the most Bill and Ted meets, I don't know, World War I thing that I've ever watched.
I want to say, as a whole, this season, I don't think it was perfect because the show is still, in some respects, a bad show, but it's also
all over the place. It's everywhere, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this season far more than the first season. I think this season, like, there's stupid leaps of logic and like kind of some eye-rolling moments, but there was never anything where I was actively getting mad at the show because it's like you're squandering this. You know, we talked about it at the end of their first season about how they'd set these potentially cool things up, like where they kind of had their version of the Ant-Man from Civil War thing, where Ray like enlarged himself and was fighting. What was he fighting? Was it a robot or a something?
Yeah, something like that.
And we were saying like that should be awesome. On paper, it sounds awesome, but the execution was just like kind of frustrating and clumsy. And I didn't feel that as much at all this season.
No, yeah. They didn't rely, I mean, like there's always CGI stuff, but they didn't basically have a kaiju battle in this season. So yeah, they did all sorts of stuff. Like, first of all, Rip is not in the show for half the season.
Yeah.
And then when we find him, he's not Rip.
Mm-hmm.
And that was some of my favorite Arthur Darvill, like, to date.
They keep messing with us in terms of Rip Hunter. Because I was initially like, did they really just like write him out of the show in the first episode? I wonder what his deal is. Maybe he needed some time off or he's working on something else.
But they brought him back for the second half.
As a villain, which was interesting.
For a while. And then
he was both because he lost his memory.
When he got his memory back, was a good guy. But then at the end of the season, he was just going to take off again.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not really back.
It didn't make sense.
He did take off.
Yeah.
He took the jump ship. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me, that character logic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand he come back and he obviously the whole time felt like he wasn't really the captain of the ship anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it didn't feel organic or earned.
Mm-hmm.
It felt very much like that's a character decision because that's what the plot wants, or
Yeah.
I would argue that it's also what the comic book character does all the time.
Really? Is he like flighty?
He's there and then he's not there and then he's there. And it's usually like, oh no, something has gone horribly awry. Rip Hunter shows up.
Is he the kind of guy that's like, he'll show up and he'll be like, what's that guy's name? Rory.
Rufus?
You got to do something about your kids. Rory.
Doc Brown.
He's a very Doc Brown.
Yeah.
We've got to go back.
What do you think of White Canary? What's her name?
Sarah Lance.
What do you think of her as captain?
I go back and forth on it. I think I've grown to accept it, but at first it was like,
I guess they made it work, but I don't think it should have. I don't think it should have. She's too short-tempered.
Right.
That's another thing. Like, that's the way they have her character established, but that's not necessarily how they play it now that she's captain.
Yeah, exactly. Though that's what I'm saying. They made it work,
but
it shouldn't have.
Right. Especially since they're seeing Damien Dark all the time,
mm-hmm.
and that was her whole thing. And then it's like, oh, I'm just gonna drop it. It's all right. I'm the captain.
I'm gonna let him live when he's already dead in the future, and let him live in the past. That was a stretch for me.
I enjoyed that. Okay, so they got rid of Vandal Savage from first season. Good.
Thank goodness.
They took care of that. Yeah, that drug on too long. I enjoyed that this season was like CW supervillain throwaway. You get our second hands.
It was.
Because it's all characters that are either dead or have been defeated.
Or characters we hope would still show up at some point, but like right now in their respective series, they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the way I feel about like Reverse Flash. Like, I'm glad they're doing something with him because I like that character and I even like that actor. But we have had about enough of Reverse Flash on that show for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the things that come after Reverse Flash feel like Reverse Flash.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Always speedsters.
Like we really just can't get over that Reverse Flash thing. Yeah.
They say next season they will be. That reminds me, I read an article about next season of Legends of Tomorrow that's slightly spoilery, but it makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to know?
Sure.
Okay, I won't go into the full details.
Well, we should probably get to the end of that episode before we talk too much about the next season. Like, everything hits the fan in this episode. What do we think about this episode?
I like the whole lead up. Like, because I mean, obviously they've got like the season long arc going, but breaking it down a little bit more compact. Like the last 3 episodes for sure were definitely like this whole once they got all the pieces of the Spear of Destiny, which is this thing that can rewrite reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then we kind of get into this World War I stuff and this whole thing, and that was the last 2 episodes at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed all that because you had time. You had.
I was say we have Flashpoint, man.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like it was all about alternate realities this year.
Yeah, across the board, because the villains won. They got the Spear of Destiny and rewrote time, and because
reality.
Yeah, reality.
And so you get to see not all the characters, but you get to see a bunch of the characters as something different. Like, Ray was a janitor and why they kept him around. They mentioned that several times too. Why they kept him? They shouldn't have kept that. He shouldn't have kept him around.
Because they're comic book villains.
But
yeah.
And the scientist guy actually is still a scientist guy, but he's working for Thawne. And then I can't remember what. I think his manager is.
Jax. Jax was his manager. Stein was, he was a stooge basically, and loyal too, super loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what's her name? Butthole Face, and the
Sarah
like gorilla girl. They,
Vixen and White Canary.
Yeah, those two. They were both his like bodyguard chicks. I guess.
Killers, bodyguards, whatever, assassins. Yeah, the whole reason I mentioned that is because I enjoyed. They actually did the whole like. So they kind of snap out of it, realize something's wrong. They do the time travel bit and come across themselves, and there was a lot of fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
What number am I thinking of? 69, dudes.
There was a lot of, and it's a show about time travelers, but they actually kind of like fully took advantage of that this season, particularly towards the end of this season, and played with time travel in fun ways, interesting ways.
They got to kick their own ass.
Yeah.
And God, it's cheesy, and I hate the part of it that I hated the most was you lost her once, don't do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Crap.
The historian and
Is that Rex?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Ray. I was surprised when they let him die the first round.
So they time travel back, and the basically alternate future versions of them at that point are disposable. And at first you're like, whoa, they're actually going to kill this person off. But then like, they conveniently kill every disposable copy of the people.
Yeah.
And,
the time remnants or whatever.
Yeah, and by like three in, I was like, all right, we get it. You're going to kill them all. And it's good. It's supposed to feel like there's some weight, but it's just like...
Now it's just redundant, yeah.
Any other time, these people are practically unkillable. But now because they're not really necessary, they're just all going to get snuffed out.
Yeah, but they didn't all. There were still, at least two of them left.
Yeah, I guess Sarah and somebody was left.
Sarah and
end.
the captain, I think, were the two that were
And they, whatever.
Yeah.
Marty McFly'd out of the existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that becomes a problem, and then like they basically they crash land in 2017, but there's like dinosaurs and stuff. So like they've fixed time only to break time.
Oh yeah.
Well, they fixed time.
And that's where they leave us.
Yeah. See, if she had been smart, she could have wished all these wonderful things and kept the Spear of Destiny and then just fixed all that when they were done. But instead, her way to fix it was just to make it not work anymore. Smart, butthole face.
God, you keep calling her that. Yeah, I mean, the best thing in her situation is to, at the very least, make it so none of that happened, and then make it inert. Make the Spear of Destiny not powerful. Mm-hmm. Instead of just starting from there and making it not powerful, which I guess kind of has the same effect, but...
Not really, because they had already screwed up the timeline a couple times before they got to that point.
They tried to time travel with both sets of them on the ship at the same time, and that's kind of...
Time storm!
Yeah, well, and that it seems like that's kind of what fractured time and like caused this last scene, which is a setup for next season.
Yeah.
Where architecture's all weird, there's dinosaurs, it's very kind of, was it Crisis on Infinite Earths?
I keep thinking of that the end of that one season with the 11th Doctor where Winston Churchill has got him as a prisoner.
Yeah,
where time is broken. And
I have a feeling if you hadn't watched it, I don't know that our recap clarified anything.
No, it's crazy.
Point is, like, it's, as always, it's a cheesy show, but they did, I think, a lot of fun stuff this season and kind of embraced more of what the show should be.
Right.
There's a lot of crazy time travel, just stuff like that.
What's happening next season? I interrupted that.
Oh, that's okay. So, again, this is slightly spoilery, but this is, it was on Bloody Cool or Bleeding Cool, whatever that website is.
Sure.
But it's a synopsis of season 3 that they got from the television upfronts, as they say, which is, it's basically like when they pitch new shows or like pitch the next season of, it's a TV industry thing. Mm-hmm. It's basically for like, insiders and, stuff like that. It's not really a general public thing.
Right.
But we get information from that. And they pitched the synopsis for next season, which is very spoilery. So that's the last time I'll say it before I just say it. Rip Hunter's back.
Cool.
Because I was really concerned because it seemed like they were straight up writing him out of the show. And I was like, I like that. I like him. So that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Right. But
he basically goes and forms something called, I think it's called the Time Bureau. Yeah. the time, he becomes a time cop.
In case they need to adjust something.
Well, yeah. And I don't know why this would be the case. How this would come about given where they were at the end of the season. But he forms the Time Bureau to kind of police time travel. He basically becomes, what did they call them? They're not Time Lords. They're Time Masters. It kind of sounds like he just forms a new Time Masters thing.
Yeah.
And then ends up like the Time Bureau has trouble with how the Legends are handling things, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's, obviously a bunch of stuff brought about by this trouble they had at the end of the season with,
Yeah, so isn't it really, the Bureau has problems with the way he handled things?
Yeah, he was there. He was one of them.
He created it to stop himself.
So he'll be back, and there was some other details, but that was like the main thing.
So how do they do that? Do they still use that weird fixed point in time or outside of time
Maybe
to look at stuff, or?
That kind of makes sense because it's like there's just a bunch of junk there now.
And the corpse of Captain Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we didn't even mention that they brought him back. They were just like, hey, while we're at it, let's bring back Captain Cold while he's still a bad guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it didn't even really seem like it was him, though, so it wasn't...
Yeah, because he was full on villain mode, almost more so than he was on Flash.
That's what I was going to say. I think he was... I think they had tampered with him or something, because he was not that bad of a guy ever before that we were, part of.
The writing's just so...
all over the place.
It's all over the place. It's whatever they want or whatever they need at that moment. They're not really concerned with consistency, which I'd say in this case is a bad thing. Like, they kind of should be a little bit more concerned. Like, they're doing a time travel show, so, you don't have to worry about
that makes the difference a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. You can't just change. The show's always been weak with the character motivations, and that extends to other shows like The Flash. I kind of had issue with how Barry was this season.
Oh yeah, all of them in that finale. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we're ready for that, I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk some smack about Flash, which I never thought I would say.
All right. Well, you go off then. I'm curious as to your thoughts on it. I'm very curious.
Okay, so like this whole season was it was Flashpoint. It's it started out with an alternate reality. I wonder where we've heard about that before. I don't know. Seems like we just talked about an alternate reality. Weird. Anyway, so they fixed that whole thing, and it just becomes this problem that introduces Savitar, which is, oh, surprise, surprise, a speedster.
Mm-hmm.
And then, did anybody not see it coming who that was? Like, once they revealed the identity of Savitar, was anybody like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming?
I was kind of thinking it wouldn't be him because it would be too obvious, but I was wrong.
Right.
It
was way too obvious. Exactly.
Yeah, I figured it was him. Early on, I was like, maybe it's Wally, because Wally got locked in that thing, and I was like,
yeah,
seemed like it'd be kind of an extra... It seemed extra savage if they had made it Wally, because, Wally just kind of got pulled into this stuff.
Yeah.
But it being Barry, I don't know. Yeah, it did not surprise me.
At least they kind of addressed the willy-nilly fashion that Barry would just create a time remnant and let it die, which is what they did in the season previous. So in that respect, it was like, okay, I kind of dig what they're doing with this, but overall I was just like, what is even going on with the season? They introduce a new version of Harrison Wells, which, he hangs around. He's there the whole season, where we're like, okay, who is this HR? Is he evil? Is he a good guy? Is he just hapless? What's going on with HR? And then, it all just comes together in this finale, where they're just the whole season they're trying to prevent Iris's death, and they just do it in the most callous way.
Yeah, and it happens. I thought they were still doing the previously on when it happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The way that they did it, it was just like, boom, here we are, and then move on. Yeah. I was like, are you kidding me? Did we just move on? Everyone just moved on.
Yeah, but I was saying to Randy, it's if you have 3 dogs or something and one of them passes away, you're super sad, but you still have 2 other dogs and you're like, oh, I miss, dog number 3.
That's true. But Like, oh, well, one of them was evil. One of them was kind of a jerk, but we grown to love him. And then there's this one that we really, really liked. He got run over, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's okay because we still got one.
Yep.
You know, the one that we grew to love.
So I don't know. I mean, we kind of seen what would have become of that character in that one version of the future where Iris did die, but I'm not sure what they could have done more with the character. Like, they kind of, like, there wasn't a lot to him outside of his personality. They kind of explored him well enough. But yeah, once they kill him off, you're like, oh, he was like,
he was destined to die. That's the only reason fodder. We had him.
Yeah.
Yeah. They invented him to kill him.
And, you know, it felt so weird and forced when they brought him onto the show.
Mm-hmm.
But they waited long enough to where that feeling kind of went away. And then they, like, no, he was just here to kill, you know, just here to die.
And he was happy and never be happy. Not on The Walking Dead, not on The Flash, not on Arrow. Just don't be happy.
Yep. All right. So what else? What other thoughts? I'm sure. What other thoughts you got on this, Jesse?
That's, I don't know, man. Like, this whole episode was just, what?
Yeah, they're gonna.
I guess that's where they started it. Like, they started it that way, and that really threw me off.
They went through all this stuff trying to keep him out of the Speed Force, and then he just is like, "No, that's where I'm supposed to go. Let me go."
Right.
Yeah.
And they let Jay out just so that he could walk in.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Spoilers, people.
Much like how it felt while watching the show. That's like it's a whole own separate issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the most part, I didn't mind this final episode. I thought it was okay. I agree with the things we've said. There's problems. And I think season long, a lot of the characters have been inconsistent, particularly Barry. And I had read, not to quote some other review, but after I watched it, I was kind of curious as to, like, if anybody had news on what was up next season, because of how it ended. And I read this review where somebody had mentioned it felt like every time they'd, like, progress Barry's character arc, they would then take, like, 2 steps back and reset it over and over. And that's the perfect way to put it, because that's how I felt. Because it felt like he'd go jerk mode and he'd just be kind of a unreasonable jerk about things and be a grump. And then, you know, like TV does by the end of the episode, oh, you know, he's learned his lesson and moral of the story and all this and that. Like, he's resolved it. And then next episode, it'd be something else and he'd be a jerk again. It's like, you can't, in a long form, serialized, like, show like this, you can't keep doing the reset every episode so you can just do the same character arc over and over again.
Yeah.
That's my main complaint with this season.
Well, it's kind of like how in Arrow, they hate each other for a minute and can't trust each other ever again, and then they become best friends again. And then 2 episodes later, it's the same thing over and over and over and over.
Yeah. The way they left it with Caitlin, I hated.
Yeah.
She's not going to be Caitlin, but she's also not going to be Killer Frost. It's like, no.
You're Caitlin with freaking frost powers.
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't know why it's so difficult. It was a good episode, I guess. But as a season, I don't think it was that great.
There was some stuff I liked. It's just the whole season was them trying to stop this thing. Sometimes it would lead to kind of interesting excursions, like the whole Grodd thing, even though I wasn't that really fond of it. And sometimes it just felt like it was being drawn out. Mm-hmm. And then in the end, they couldn't stop it. Even though they had their little trick around actually killing her off, still, like, it was kind of all for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he saved her, but then he dies. Not dies, but whatever it is.
They even call it out, like, as it's happening. Like, wait a minute. Like, was it Joe West is like, wait, we've been trying to save Iris this whole time, and we should have been trying to save you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd have worked as hard. And they still failed. So, the HR thing really still bugs me, because they are clearly, and I kind of understand, as a viewer, you don't have as much attachment. Well, I mean, I guess it depends how you feel about Iris, but you don't have as much attachment to HR, even though he's kind of an infinitely more enjoyable character than Iris is in general.
Yeah. Tom Cavanaugh, just in general, like, he could play every part, as far as I'm concerned. He could have his own spinoff.
They should.
Other than the fact that the show didn't treat his death like a tragedy like it would have treated Iris's,
Right.
The other thing that I think really cheapens it is that as soon as he's dead, they bring back Wells too. And at the end of the episode, he's like, no, I'll stick around. So it's like they didn't even lose a Wells. If they had at least not brought him back for this episode, it wouldn't have felt so cheap.
Just wait, man. You can bring back Harrison next season because you're going to need big brains in the room, obviously. But
they even established that he's going to stick around. Like the end of the episode, it's like, oh, well, that Wells is back. So that kind of made HR feel even more disposable.
You think they're going to try and make him hook up with that smart chick that made the...
I hope not. I hope not.
That'd be creepy for her. Like, that'd be creepy of her in a way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
not any creepier than Iris wanting to get it on with
Amnesia Berry.
Happy Flash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't mention it, but the funniest thing this season to me was when an Amnesia Flash discovered his powers. He was kissing Iris and then he gets this is the hand. And I was like, "What, Barry? What are you doing?"
What were you thinking of?
It's kind of like what was it? It was Smallville. Like they basically whenever Clark Kent got all hot and bothered, that's when his heat vision would go off inexplicably.
Really?
Yeah.
I never watched much Smallville.
I never did either. But that's way worse because I mean, I guess if you didn't know what was going on, he could have vibrated his hand into her and killed her. But heat vision, you're pretty much guaranteed to mess some stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Puberty, man, it's rough.
So this season, I think during the last episode, I was enjoying most of it, kind of thinking about back to the season. I was like, yeah, I enjoyed this season. This was a good season. But then like later, when I really started to kind of think about what happened and the characters, it kind of does fall apart a little bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it was all right. They said they're not going to do so much time travel stuff next season. That actually kind of disappoints me.
That would be wise. That would. Yeah. I do too, but that would be wise. They need to take a break from it. Time travel and speedsters. They need to just leave it alone for a little while.
Yeah,
until they can come back.
Maybe they can take some time off from that, and while they're doing other things, they can research how to not make it suck, and then they can go back to it.
Yeah.
All right, come on, we're in.
This is awesome. We're in the Grawlix studios.
Look, it's a plate of Mel's Hot Biscuits. I've heard about those.
Oh my God, check it out. Jesse and Randy's beard oil. I didn't know you can buy that in buckets. Well, that Sam Club's membership is really paying off.
Okay, let's get in their computer and drop this promo.
Okay, let's do it.
We're the Roman Podcast, and in the future, we're sneaking a promo on the Grawlix show.
Okay, seriously.
Seriously. Here we go.
I'm Roman LeBeau.
And I'm Rob Gast.
And we're from the Roman Podcast. We're just two Canadian guys getting together once a week to put our own spin on weird stories and trending news.
That's right. You can get our show every Wednesday night on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, the Laughable app, and of course, here on the EMC Podcast Network.
Okay, I think we got it. Put that in their show. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Hang on. While I'm in their computer, I'm just going to update their comic book pull list for the next few months.
What are you adding?
Captain Canuck, of course.
Nice.
I don't remember who wrote the article, but somebody pointed out that they've gone through like 33 Flash villains or something.
Wow.
Was this the third season?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they have a problem. They have a problem just burning through villains, and like some of them have become good guys. So like one of your major villains, one of your major baddies, Captain Cold, he became good on a different show along with Heatwave. So there you go. He's the leader of the Rogues.
I mean, he reappeared this season, or maybe it was just this season he first showed up. God, it was a long season. But Mirror Master was treated like such a throwaway character, and I was like, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he like one of Flash's
He's one of the main rogues. Yeah, he's one of the main rogues.
And he was handled like such a throwaway.
Yeah.
And he showed up a little bit again in the future, whenever future version, alternate future, but with emo heroin junkie Barry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
He wasn't even alone, was he? There was a chick with him too.
Yeah, the top.
The top, yeah.
That's not a good name. But
although they did more so than Mirror Master's first appearance, they did do a bit of a Doctor Strange crazy city warping, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll just do like Arrow and use Batman's villains instead.
Yeah, they're gonna have to at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, they really 33. That surprises me, but they do burn through. And they choose kind of odd villains to keep bringing back. Like, not that Grodd's odd, but I can't believe they've gone back to Grodd so many times. Like at least once a season.
Yeah,
which is fine. It's Gorilla Grodd, but not what I would have expected.
Have they shown the shark guy before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
King Shark. Yeah.
He popped up again, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
He did. What
in
was
the
that?
same episode as Captain Cold.
Okay.
He needed Captain Cold to break into that place and get the thing from Argus, which was interesting, like an Arrow crossover without a crossover.
Oh, I'm blanking on that one.
I'm trying to think.
I think we might have missed an episode. Was that towards the end of the season?
Yeah.
I think
I
we
can't
might have missed
remember
an
what
episode.
they were stealing, but yeah, they had to steal something.
I think the CW app kind of screwed us somehow because we started watching the finale. I think we might have missed the episode leading up to it because we started watching the finale and it really does just throw you into it. And we were like, wait, did we miss something? And I went and looked at the app and we had watched the episode it listed before.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And there wasn't anything in the previously on that we hadn't already seen.
Yeah.
But it was like went from nothing to all of a sudden we're there at Iris's death.
Yeah, I think we missed an episode, which, okay, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll be able to go back and find it again sometime.
Yeah.
It was episode 22.
So this end bit, this very final tacked on scene, this manufactured cliffhanger. I mean, I guess they established, Jay got out, whatever, but I did like I'm sorry, I'm jumping back again real quick. I liked the fight between so I wasn't surprised, about the time remnant berry, but I think that's not a bad idea. I like the idea because it's very time travel-y and weird and I like the fight between them.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have a question though about that time remnant thing. If you create a time remnant, aren't you supposed to have them die? Because one of them has to die, right? They can't just both be there.
Well, I mean, yeah, essentially they always have to die.
Right, so why is he all angry about it? That's his job.
To die?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't like that.
Yeah, he's been cheating it. He's been cheating that system in order to preserve himself.
But why? Makes no sense.
I liked when regular Barry phased into the Savitar suit and pushed the other one out. Mm-hmm. I liked the other one's reaction. He's like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I think it was something like, "It is written" or something like that. Like,
yeah.
like he got all excited. He's like, "See, destined." So I did enjoy.
He became this really religious zealot guy.
Yeah, kind of.
I have no meaning. I have no purpose. So I am a god.
And I wasn't okay. So Grant Gustin, Susan. I'm just adding new names.
You're just adding syllables to his name. Yeah.
I wasn't super fond of the future emo heroin junkie Barry. Mm-hmm. It just seemed a little over the top. But Savitar Time Remnant Barry, even though he was still kind of just as more over the top, I guess, kind of made me appreciate his acting chops because he definitely carried himself differently. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just looking moody. I mean, the makeup helped, the big scar thing, but he carried himself with a different confidence and stuff. And I kind of appreciated that when they can do the whole split screen, the same actor twice on there, and actually come across as a somewhat different person.
Yeah. Because Happy Barry just seemed like High Barry to me, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And musical theater Barry.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, but kind of keep it. It's a separate thing.
I don't think I watched that one.
You fell asleep during the first song.
Yeah, because I was like, "Oh, musical," and then
for me, okay. Well, I guess let's talk about the musical. What'd you get? Okay, Jesse, what did you think of it?
I liked it only because I know both of those characters are on Glee, and then you had John Barrowman, who is a pop star over in the UK, and
they're all.
I was just it's so meta that I just it wasn't my favorite story, but to see them all just start singing. What's his name? Professor Stein is a huge musical guy, so to see him sing and It was like they pulled anybody that had any previous singing experience, and they're like, "All right, here's your day."
Yeah, everybody who sang was actually, sang, and they all have either Glee or
Opera.
well-known like theater careers and stuff like that. Yeah, so they had a lot of people.
And
to
then
work for.
what was it? Blaine Warbler from the Glee. He was the music meister or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was like if I was gonna give it to anybody, it would be like, okay, yeah, he can be the music meister.
I'm tired of Glee trying to stick its nose in my shows, man. Stay out of them.
Yeah, I know. We've had that complaint with American Horror Story.
Yeah, and I want to see
Oh.
the random and one other one too. Where I'm like, this is not appropriate.
So I did not like the first number, and I was a little worried when that kicked in, the first song. After
Sure.
that, but it's not really my style. Like the one guy, was it the music meister who was singing in that one?
Maybe, yeah.
I didn't like. I guess that's that modern musical sound. I didn't like it. The others after that though, I thought it got better. I liked Barry and Kara's song.
Yes, yeah.
Kara. I liked their song they had was fun. The others, overall, I don't like music.
I like it when Joe West sings, whoever that guy is.
Yeah.
Like he's got a good sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he might have had my favorite sound, but he's it's I guess style. You can see their different styles come out there because Stein had a very operatic kind of.
Wobbly.
Yeah, his was a little tough. It was a little tough to handle, but still, it was cool to see him do it.
Like it was good. It's just like genre, not really my thing. Yeah.
Well, and it was the most different of everybody on that episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it
Yeah.
didn't mesh.
It's not so contemporary.
Right.
I don't get crazy. A lot of people were super excited about it going into it for whatever reason. People like musicals, I guess, but I wasn't thrilled about the idea of it. But I was like, okay, well, I'll keep an open mind about it.
I like musicals that are made to be musicals. I don't like it when they try to make a musical out of something that is not a musical.
Yeah.
Stay in your
Like-
own areas, dang it.
Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer when they did a musical episode.
Yeah, I cannot remember it. It seems like the thing.
So,
It seems like
once more with feeling, yeah.
it seems like I would have hated it, but I don't remember how it struck me. And I think I was still watching Buffy at that time.
It was pretty good, but it was like, I mean, it was all explained in a very Buffy way. So
Mm-hmm.
there's some people that loved it so much that they put out a soundtrack for it and everything. I wouldn't go that far. There was like maybe 2 good songs in that episode. I don't know.
I've been slowly revisiting Buffy, inspired by
It's a good
podcast
show.
I've been listening to. Yeah.
Back to Arrow for a second. I really feel like Arrow did a better job keeping their season cohesive than Flash did this season.
Really?
I just feel like I need to admit that. Like their finale, their season, everything flowed much better than the Flash this year.
Was it as interesting though?
That varies because Arrow was better than normal, but coming off of the Damien Dark season, that's not saying a whole lot. But they threw back to season 1 a lot, and I feel like that was the right move. So
Oh, we can touch on the big crossover too. That was this
yeah,
season.
yeah.
The Supergirl, crap.
Yep, it's crap.
I didn't even bother because you told me not to.
Yeah,
so
you
I
didn't miss anything. It was literally one of those things where I think at the beginning of the episode, a portal tried to open, and then we got a whole episode of Supergirl, and it was not a good jumping on point. Like they did not. I don't think they understood crossover. Like I mean, shows do crossovers, but since they're comic book shows, you kind of think about comic books, and ideally, a good crossover in a comic book, at least for a new reader, in this case a new viewer, would be a good jumping on point. And this was not
Right.
that. It was
Right.
They were in the middle of their stuff. They didn't care to explain anything. I wasn't keen on anything I saw.
Mm-mm.
And then literally the last scene of the episode was Barry and Cisco pop out and like, "Hey, come with us." Like, "Oh, really?
Oh,
Really? We're going to do that?"
That's what we needed to make this a crossover. Great.
The other stuff I liked. Actually, the Arrow episode of the crossover I enjoyed, and I was like, yeah, I kind of remember some of the stuff I liked about Arrow.
Yeah.
Sorry, finally jumping back to this last scene, speaking of tacked on scene at the end of the episode.
Oh yeah.
where Jay is out of the Speed Force. He was in prison there for a couple episodes, and he got out, and then the Speed Force was wrecking up the city because it needed somebody in there for some reason. And so Barry was like, well, I have to go in there. It's like, well, what about Jay? He's standing right back there.
Right. Or Wally or anybody, you know.
I
guess,
could understand him
know.
not pushing Wally towards it, but like Jay was already doing
Yeah.
it. But in my head, and I was watching too the whole time, during that whole thing, you only see Jay in the background like once. Otherwise, it's almost like they made a point not to show him.
Because
So the viewer wouldn't be like, hey, wait, what about...
yeah, because he should have, it would be what his character would do, be like,
Yeah.
no, I'll do it.
That's the thing. It would be what his character would do. But in my head, he's back there like playing like, huh? What? Who? Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Whoa. What's this? What's this now?
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go not here.
Yep.
I have an Earth somewhere.
Yeah.
I got a Earth 9 now.
That's a thing. Hey, so the Speed Force is just the Speed Force, and it's all over, and it's not each Earth has its own Speed Force, because it seems like that's the way it should be.
That's a good question. The Speed Force seems like the kind of thing where it would be across all universes.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be one force. But when they're like, when a bad speedster comes from another Earth, and I don't know if they really played into this much last season or the season before this recent one, it seems like they have an effect on the Speed Force while they're there on that Earth. But when they're on another Earth, it doesn't seem like they have any effect on the Speed Force, which makes you think there's a Speed Force for each universe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the writers do either.
Yeah. Well, they should think about that. And
Or it's one of those things where they're like, we can do no.
Yeah. It's like, what then does Vibe and Gypsy tap into? Like what? I don't understand how that's different from the Speed Force. Then, you know, like,
Yeah.
well, we just get the vibes of all universes, but the Speed Force can traverse them, but only when it's convenient for that to happen.
Well, and she dropped some line about them being connected to this last episode.
well,
Yeah.
I know they vibe, and there's other shows where they talk, I mean, not shows, there's other comics where they talk about having to find the right vibration of, you know, that universe. And I think they've done it in the Flash too. So maybe the Speed Force is just like some big primal vibration that all of them come from. I don't know.
Are Gypsy and Vibe gonna wind up being the same person? Are they gonna go there?
Are they just like
She's just a multiversal version of him, only like a rule. What's that internet rule where there's a female version of everyone?
Mm.
Like that's it. You're just female Vibe, and I've been digging myself.
Yep.
That would make for a good joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why is Barry's mom always the Speed Force?
What I was gonna say is, to Barry, it kind of makes sense, but they saw her too, and I don't know why the Speed Force would one appear to them at all. But if it's gonna appear to Barry as why would they? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Flash, your mama so Speed Force that when she shows up, you go to your room.
You know, really, I think if I was there and I saw his mom there, I'd be like, "That's not your mom. Your mom is dead. Don't trust this thing."
Yeah,
That would freak me out. Her being there.
Yeah.
I'd be upset.
He was all zen. He was all like, "Yeah, I'm going to my room now."
I'd be upset if I were Iris. I think too.
Yeah, me too.
Just in general.
Yeah, a little bit.
And Barry was, given how all over the place his character's been, was awfully zen during this whole thing.
Yeah, you get some of those drugs from the happy him.
The happy him.
Yeah.
I thought,
Happy him.
Amnesia
him.
Do you think Barry's coming back next season, or do you think it's going to be the Wally show now?
I would almost prefer it if it were the Wally show, but if they go that route, they've got to leave Barry out of it for a while. Like, don't have it be the Wally show for just the first episode, and then all of a sudden, oh, Barry's back at the end of the episode.
Oh, you mean like the
And
Flashpoint thing?
I can almost predict that's what's going to happen. Like the first episode of the season will be Jay showing Wally West the ropes, kind of like we would all hope 4 in the Mark Waid run of The Flash, and then like at the end of the episode, somehow Barry will be back.
It's kind of like they get scared. I mean, at least I guess this whole season was a result of Flashpoint, kind of. But
Right.
they did it the first season too. They had this big cliffhanger with the vortex opening over the city and all this, and then that was like that whole scenario was literally resolved in like 5 minutes of the first episode.
Well, and it was an afterthought. Like when they started the episode, I believe it was over already, and so we experienced it in a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, really?
I don't really care for Wally that much. Or maybe it's they don't let his character be anything other than annoying, but I haven't liked him, and I don't really want him to be the main Flash. I'd rather have the chick from Earth 2.
Jesse.
Jesse Quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, because Wally, what they've given us of his character, I'm not super keen on him. Whatever. He's a dumb kid, I guess. I mean, he's not dumb. He's supposed to be smart.
I think that's why if they were going to go that route, they really have to play it up for a while. Like they can't just dump us right back into Barry. Like if they're going to do that, they have to really play up the mentor dynamic between him and Jay Garrick. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it at all, I think.
I'm a little worried. I like Barry, though. I mean, I like Grant and all that. So I wouldn't mind Barry coming back, but I'm worried they have, like tends to happen when they like get superhero characters married. Like I'm worried they will feel like they've written themselves into a corner and don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely don't want them to like feel like they're at the end of his character arc and then just keep resetting it like it kind of feels like they've been doing.
Yeah.
So maybe they just don't know what to do with Barry at this point.
Well, they've kind of set us up for he's going to disappear
Mm-hmm.
during the crisis. Like they've set us up for that since season 1. So I'm okay with it happening, but they got to do it right.
Anything else on the CW shows before we move on? This episode's going a little long, I guess.
I think we covered it. We probably beat the dead horse with Dre Bieber beats. Is that a callback to the pre-show?
I think it is a callback to the pre-show, and I kind of just want to leave it as you said it because it's going to seem so weird and out of place.
If you want to know what we're talking about, you can be a Patreon for $1 a month. Patreon.com/Grawlix podcast.
You can be a Patreon for $20 a month too.
You can.
That too. We'll take your dollars or your $20. Either way.
Hey, we'll take even more if you want.
Yeah.
If you have
Do
lots of extra money to throw at things, throw it at us. We'll catch
If you don't like inside jokes that you don't get, it's worth your time and money.
And then you'll get the inside jokes.
Yep.
and other stuff.
You think the show? Yeah. You think the show finances itself?
I'll make you a card.
It doesn't just grow on trees.
Yeah. Grawlixes don't just grow on trees, you know.
They don't.
And we're not paying to entertain the outside.
Or grow trees.
Yeah.
I was just trying to do more like dad lines. We're not paying to heat the outside.
Oh.
Oh.
So Doctor Who, huh?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I like Doctor Who.
How is it you did the like weird beats by Bieber, Dre, rambly bit, and I'm the one that somehow got stuck with Big, the one that caused the awkward transition?
Magic. Okay, so Doctor Who.
Okay, so we are, I believe, as of the time this episode goes up, we'll be one episode behind, but I still wanted to talk about it because it's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've seen the most recent, well, okay, I shouldn't say that, Jesse, you've seen episode 7, I think it was?
Yes.
Okay.
Watched it this morning.
All right, so we will be talking about this season so far up to episode 7. And for people in the way future, we're talking about season or series 10 of the new Who series.
Yes.
So far, I'm very much enjoying this season. Last couple episodes feel iffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They feel like Stephen Moffat.
Yeah.
I like, I'm okay with the new companion. I think that the one guy is kind of annoying. The
Narwhal.
Yeah, Narwhal, whatever the hell.
Narwhal.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish he would get rid of him. I mean, maybe he did. Maybe he's dead. I don't know. But But other than that,
I think you were okay. So we watched episode 7 last night, and I think you were in a bad mood anyway. Actually, we watched 6 and 7 last night, but you were very angry at the show.
yeah.
And you're like, what was it? If he's dead, did he liquefy? Why didn't he liquefy? And you were getting very upset with it.
Yeah, because you can't just halfway do it. Do it all or don't do it at all. You know what I mean?
That's good. Do it all or don't do it at all.
Shush.
Except you said it better. You said it in a way that sounded like 2 rhyming words that weren't necessarily the same word.
But they were.
Is he a robot or isn't he a robot?
He's not a robot right now, but
He's got robot stuff sometimes. I think
He's mostly robot. I think he's a head.
Yeah.
I thought he went back to before he became a robot and saved him.
Oh, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he was a robot like episode 1 of this season when he was in the college still. Because
Oh.
he had like a screw falling out and he was sounding like...
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
I didn't remember that.
And I think this episode, they had made mention of... He said something about he still had like normal lungs or something. So he should go in the ship.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That explains why what happens is happening.
Yeah. Very boneheaded.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Very
It's strange.
boneheaded of the Doctor.
Yeah.
That situation.
And I don't understand that because I know that they go out in space and the TARDIS gives them a little air bubble to live with.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, well, maybe that's why he's not concerned, because he really should have been concerned before he walked off that TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've had the little like tease of, he's got to watch this vault. Who's in the vault? What's in the vault? Well, it's not it's not a surprise. I guess the specifics are kind of a surprise, but it's not a surprise who's in there.
Right.
Well, it was before. I mean, they didn't say it automatically, did they?
No, but I mean, what I'm saying
we
is...
guessed what it was, yeah, but that doesn't mean that everybody did.
I'm not talking for everybody.
Okay.
If I was talking for everybody, I'd be like, you should pay Randy $1,000 a piece. And then I'd be rich.
Everybody would say that?
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
If I was talking for everybody, but I'm not. I'm talking for us. In which case, you guys should still pay Randy $1,000 a piece.
Patreon.com.
$1,000. I don't know. I'll draw you a picture on a napkin for $1,000.
Napkin Randy's making a comeback.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I forgot about Napkin Randy. I'll do a Napkin Randy animated feature.
Yep.
If I get several people paying me $1,000.
Yeah. Because animation ain't cheap.
Yeah. I mean, this animation will be cheap, but in general, it's not.
Yeah.
We are talking about napkin stick people. I forgot what we were talking about. Anyway, no, we had guessed it. We had figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But up to recently, it's kind of been Monster of the Week kind of stories.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And for me, they've been fun, and I've enjoyed, what's her name? The new companion.
Bill.
I've enjoyed her character so far.
Pearl Mackie. Something.
Bill.
Yeah.
Make it a Mac.
It's the Bill Mac.
Yeah.
And I liked the first episode of this season. I thought that was, it felt like another jumping on point, like a good jumping on point for new viewers, because we kind of, not as much as in previous years, but we kind of get an reintroduction to the Doctor through the companion character.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought it was handled well this time.
And Murderous Puddles rock.
Yeah, the puddle thing was creepy.
Yeah.
There's been lots of creepy this season.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always good. Even this recent couple episodes of those things look horrifying.
Yeah. But that's not what they look like, is it?
No.
So if you were going to go to a planet and try to look somewhat like them, why would you make yourself look like a very horrifying version of them?
Like a corpse.
Yes.
They even said, yeah, I don't know. Their logic.
Well, they kind of said it's because to us, you are corpses, which didn't really answer the question.
No.
But yeah.
No, it was more of a threat.
I kind of take issue with this. I mean, like this, we kind of mentioned this is like all of a sudden we got plunked down into a 3-parter, or at least it's a 3-parter so far.
Yeah.
Like it was just Monster a Week, 3-parter. Boom. Very Stephen Moffat. And that was how I felt about it immediately. Was like, okay, this is either going to be awesome or this is going to be death in heaven or whatever, the dark water, whatever that they did last season.
Yeah.
or the season before that. I don't even know what season at this point.
Every
but it's
Moffat season.
Oh, okay, this could be another fails to land kind of
Another
Moffat
river
scenario.
song?
Well,
Exactly.
He sets things up interestingly and then doesn't execute, but it feels like or doesn't complete well. And in this case, I don't necessarily feel like it's been set up well.
Right.
I mean, it's not like it's been handled incompetently or anything. Like I know what's going on. It hasn't been that enjoyable of a ride so far. The blind doctor thing is interesting, but having to deal with it for 2 full episodes where, like, I mean, blind people are going to hear this and be like, well, try dealing with it every day. But having to deal with it in this character, it feels like a burden.
Well,
to me, the viewer.
also because he's lying about it, and that just gets frustrating. Like, it's like, at what point does Bill not just figure it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, actually.
Like, Nardle's just explaining everything to him in this most recent episode, and it's like, what, she's not smart enough to pick that up? I actually had to ask Holly a couple times, wait, didn't he admit it yet?
Yeah,
because there were times where it's like she was just ignoring it. Yeah, like it was like she didn't notice it at all, and then other times it was like, oh well, she probably knows.
Yeah, when he's like, a door just opened right in front of your face. I think he should have been able to know that.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it was stupid too. Stupid, like, oh no, this disability that he just has right now is gonna make everything suck because she's gonna try to save him. You know. And I'm like,
his logic for not telling her?
No, like she made her deal with the dead mummy monk guys, aliens, because he was blind.
Yeah,
and it's cheap.
Yeah, it kind of is cheap.
It did kind of ruin all the development that they've had with her, which, you know, like, there haven't been that many episodes. So, like, we can't decide if this is a good decision for her or a bad decision for her, because how well does she know him?
And it seems like in the last couple episodes, she's been trying to get distance from him anyway.
Right.
Well, if there's one thing Moffat's handled well, it's consistent companions.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I love Rory.
I'm surprised she doesn't have a superpower yet, but give it time.
Yeah, no kidding.
I like her right now because she's just a companion. But we'll see how far that lasts.
I mean, at the very longest, the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll come back. They probably don't know.
No, they're not going to let her come back. They're going to be like, she just sold the earth to these crazy dead monk guys. Well, we don't want her back here.
Capaldi's out the end of the season anyway.
Why? Yeah, I like Capaldi. Give him let him work with somebody besides Moffat so that we can see him be good.
He's out. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
But he's out, so it's not like they haven't, or they're not like they can't do a doctor and companion switch over between seasons, but usually they keep at least the companion around.
They'll keep Narwhal.
Narwhal. This business with Missy is weird. It's okay. And maybe she knew she wasn't really going to die and she was acting up because that's what Missy does. But I didn't buy her begging. It doesn't seem very mastery. I'm not that the master's like one to have, like, I don't know, what's the word? A bunch of pride or something. I mean, he acts that way, but he'll be at skis if it benefits him.
Yeah,
I
seem to recall him doing a little bit of pleading at some point in time.
Well, you could be right.
Usually it's because
there's a few times where his plan didn't go according to plan, and then all of a sudden, oh, now I need the doctor to save me from myself.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. He's like, oh no, I made a mistake by trusting these evil, whatever's they are. Please help me, kind of a thing.
So maybe this will be answered by the time this episode goes up. But what do you think Sims's master, what do you think his role is going to be in this?
Sims?
The guy that played the master before Missy. He is in the season at some point in time.
I'm trying to figure out where he is. Is he a later incarnation of Missy? Like, where does we have no idea where Missy falls in the Master's timeline. Is he is she pre-Sims?
I was almost thinking it would be kind of a fun twist that she gets executed and regenerates into him. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, not that it makes a difference.
Well, it'd have to be Derek Jacobi, but that would be rad. Because remember, Jacobi, it would go her, then Jacobi, then Sims.
Oh yeah, you're right, because we did have him regenerate into Sims. He's in like one episode, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the only stumbling block that I see in that.
Good point. I had forgotten that. All right.
Oh, well.
I'd still love to see it. I'd still love to see her be like a previous incarnation, because that would really throw a wrench in things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think of any references she would have made to their past that aren't like, that isn't just generic, could be at any point in time. I don't think there's been anything, so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And I believe she's, not that you can count on anything any of these people say outside of the show, but I believe she said she's not returning after this season.
Yeah, she's gone with Capaldi, according to the last thing I read.
Okay.
So everything's gonna suck.
Well, that's how we look at it every time we know there's a change coming.
No, I was excited when Capaldi was gonna take over.
Yeah, but we don't know who's coming next. It could be somebody awesome.
There's always a lull. There's always a doctor you're not super fond of, but you enjoy it enough.
Yeah. When is Moffat leaving? Because he was supposed to have left a long time ago, and he's still here, ruining everything.
Calm down. Have some dip. The end. George Carlin popped in my head. I don't know why.
Yep.
The end of the season. This is last season.
Yep. Because Christmas special will be the end.
Okay. I don't know if I trust it, because it was supposed to be the end before too. And then he's like, "Oh, you know what? No, maybe I'll do it in another year or two." Butthead. I don't like him.
Moving on.
Yes, let's move on.
Okay, so the monsters. I referenced earlier, the monsters, the only thing that I don't dig about them is that, like, ever since Moffat has kind of jumped on, like, his idea of a creepy monster is stealing, what's his name? The guy that does the motion capture for Abe Sapien. Like, every monster in a Guillermo del Toro film.
Oh yeah.
Like they're like slow, creepy point thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, it doesn't matter what the face does, as long as they do a slow, creepy point. Like, the Silence does it. What was it? Was it the Whisper Men?
Oh yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Now these monk guys do it.
He had that.
I'm trying to think of other ones, but it's like they all do it. Like, okay, time for the slow, creepy point. The Guillermo del Toro wannabes.
You even had that, like, I guess he was supposed to be some kind of assassin or something that was stalking Capaldi last season with the snake guy, where he's basically snakes, but he'd like form together. Mm-hmm. And he was just like a tall, creepy dude in a robe that like floated around kind of and was creepy in a similar fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes that.
I just feel like it's kind of getting predictable in the way that it's like, it's super creepy. And I agree. They are creepy, but it feels like it's a formula now. You could just Mr. Potato Head the head and then just make him walk around all creepy like.
Well, the bunch of dead astronauts in evil suits was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have been upset if I were those people and he brought Bill back, but everybody else was still dead. I think I would have been a little disappointed there, but
yeah. Well, a lot of them would have been dead anyway because they had gotten out into space.
Most of them had, yeah.
Yeah. That's something we hadn't touched on. I like that episode. I
feel like we spaced it.
I mean, and that's where the blindness came from, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess adding to Bill's guilt and motivation to talk to these, whatever they're called, aliens of some kind. Oh, the monks.
Yeah.
He's blind because, well, in her mind, because it's her fault that he's blind. He's blind because he gave her his helmet and walked through space.
Well, maybe he should have closed his eyes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know.
I didn't feel this way until just recently, but is she becoming Martha Jones?
No.
I hope not.
I hope not too. But I like looking at the trailer for the next episode. I'm kind of like, are they Martha Jonesing her?
But she's a lesbian. Sorry.
There's a different, slightly different characteristic on paper. Okay, speaking of the lesbian thing, I got a particular laugh out of she brought this woman home. I think it was the episode before this last one we watched, and just talking to her, and the woman seemed like she was maybe not super experienced in dating women on the regular or something. I don't know. But then the Pope walks out of her bedroom, and I laughed so hard. I thought that was funny because and the woman is that the Pope? And recognized him as the actual Pope. And I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
Like, what would a person think?
Yeah, especially if it was somebody who wasn't necessarily comfortable.
Yeah, that's my point. She seemed kind of uncomfortable, and maybe it was because whatever living arrangement Bill had going on, there was a woman there who's clearly not aware of Bill's interest in women.
Yeah. You didn't bring a guy home, did you?
Yeah. What was? I guess they didn't address what the situation was.
It's like some kind of foster mom or something.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Which is weird because then was it the episode before or a couple episodes before with the she was rooming with some people from college.
Yeah, but that didn't work out.
Well, no, it didn't work out.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
She wants to move, I think. She just...
Yeah, okay.
It's hard to find a place.
I've enjoyed the season up to these last couple episodes. I enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. These ones
this is still mid-season, isn't it?
Yeah,
this isn't even the end. So, there's still potentially a lot more to come. But it's like... This feels strange, like a mid-season finale already.
Yeah, and I don't like everything seemed way too forced or sloppy. I really like the idea of a biological or whatever biogenetic thing destroying the world, but we have to make that guy the sloppiest hungover man ever. I'm gonna leave 2 airlocks open and just bring all this unknown sludge that's dead with me.
He was scooping up with his hands.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous.
And why would all this recycle out into the air? I don't understand why they would have built that into the lab.
Yeah, automatic. Yeah,
that's exactly the opposite of what it should do.
Yeah. If it goes into lockdown, it should stay in lockdown because they're obviously dealing with chemicals that can cause
that were sprayed through the air to the plants.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, that whole bit felt a little bit like, they did the bit with the close-up of the glasses and her purse getting smashed, and then a bottle of alcohol being smashed, and it felt a little too like, look at this, aren't we clever? I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
It felt too, these episodes just felt off in a way. There's stuff I liked. I liked the portals that went, I liked the Shadow World, Shadow Life, whatever they called it, the simulation thing.
Yeah. I like their little tenderly, computer thing that they just hold on to it.
They hold on to it and they see the future or the simulation of what's going to happen. Yeah. The music got weird. I had to comment on the music because they're jet setting around the world, after this pyramid appears and all this. And the music was some straight up James Bond stuff. I was like, is this are they going for James Bond? That's what it sounded like. Later it turned into old horror movie music.
They went back to that whole President of the World thing, and I'm just like, I don't need to remember that because that's all it makes me think about. This episode already makes me think of Death in Heaven. Yeah. I don't need to remember it.
And what good is giving him this title of President of the World, but they don't listen to him?
Right.
Any other thoughts on Doctor Who Talks?
Interested to see how Missy is going to play into this, which we'll probably already know by the time you guys hear this episode.
Okay, slight predictions, I guess. There's no way of knowing how do you want to see it end for this Doctor? How's he going to go out? How do you think Capaldi's going to go out? The Doctor, the Capaldi Doctor, not Capaldi himself. He's fit and healthy, and it definitely doesn't worry me that sometimes his eyes look real tired.
I think he's gonna get hit by a spaceship.
What, when he's out in space or somewhere on Earth? He's standing out there in a spaceship.
He's gonna give some speech, and it'll be some big finale type speech, and then something will come along and run him over because he can't see.
But he got his vision back, at least temporarily.
Well, okay, fine. Then he can see. It's still gonna run him over, just to be a bad word about it.
That's interesting.
I was worried that they were going to mess with his future regenerations, and then I realized, oh no, all of that happened inside of the simulation.
Oh, you're right.
Remember where he traded on his own regenerations in order to get some sight?
Yeah, you're right. It was in the simulation.
Like, whoa.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I thought for sure they were setting up something that's going to like
Really mess with the next regeneration.
yeah, or at least be a very plot convenient inconvenience, you know?
Yeah.
One thing that I liked, because it's always nice when the Doctor's a little bit of a bad word,
Yeah.
but when he was supposed to be executing Missy, and he's like, "I'm the Doctor, look it up as cause of death," and I'm like, wow, yeah, that's kind of crazy right there.
Yeah,
They all got scared and started running away.
even the main guy who was holding out forever, and his thing kept going, you know?
Mhm.
I want that to be my ringtone now.
It worked like in that situation, but it was weird that he would flaunt.
What a murderer he is!
Yeah. Like a mass.
Hey, ask Adric how he's feeling today, kids.
And the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And the dinosaurs.
You know how many genocides I've committed? I can't even count anymore.
You're welcome.
Except for the Daleks that one time when I could have stopped them. I didn't do that.
Well, he did murder a lot
Yeah,
of
but
Daleks.
as the fourth Doctor, he could have snuffed them out before they were even really Daleks. But he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because...
Instead, he just talked about it and stared off into space like the fourth Doctor does.
Well, maybe that's why later in his regenerations, he's got such a hard-on for him.
Daleks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Ninth Doctor was all about murdering them all.
Yeah, but the Ninth Doctor was fresh out of the Time War.
Yeah.
I mean, as it kind of turns out, he wasn't, but he doesn't remember or acknowledge the War Doctor. So, as far as we knew anyway, he's fresh out of the Time War.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that they, what was it? He's attached to the tendrils and whatnot in this last episode, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, not my first dead planet."
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I like that quite a bit, because I mean, the Doctor gets upset about things, but like, yeah, it's not going to hit him like it hit everybody else, because he's seen all that. He's seen tons of. I think he's seen Earth in that state many times before he changed things.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's watched it blow up. I know, at least.
Yeah, a couple times. That's like a date spot for him.
Mm-hmm.
Want to go watch the Earth blow up?
It's beautiful.
That's where he took Rose.
I know.
The first time, like, he took her out to space. It's like, hey, I'm gonna take you out. You're gonna see the Earth explode. Probably not a great decision on his behalf.
Just because there was some, assassin type person there or something.
Just in general.
No.
Well, he's like Angelo Lansbury. Of course there's an assassin there. Everything, no matter where he goes.
Yeah, he's causing the murders.
Yeah.
Just so he can road about them.
But no, I mean, if some alien guy that could time travel came and picked me up, I'd be like, yeah, I want to watch the Earth explode. That's like the first thing I want to see.
It's like 4th of July, cranked up a notch.
Yeah.
But it messed her up a little bit.
Well,
It gave her pause. Although maybe that's kind of the idea too, is like, if you can handle this, then we can cruise.
Yeah, maybe.
Where did he take Bill?
He took Bill to a spaceship.
Was that their first? Yeah, I mean, I guess her
To
first
do it.
travel was like in the middle of like running from things.
Yeah.
Oh, and she like got to see all across the universe and stuff through that water creature lady.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, that was kind of sad.
I liked it though. I thought it was, but I thought it was an interesting introduction to her character, but also of her character to the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, kind of like what I was saying. It's just like, you really, here, if you can handle everything, not that it was intentional of the Doctor, but it's like, if you can handle this, then you're probably good to go for the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. An awful lot of, shouldn't say he's let, but an awful lot of people have died when the Doctor was around this season.
Mm-hmm.
That seems unusual a little bit.
He doesn't quite seem to work as hard to save the individual people as other Doctors have.
No, he doesn't.
It's like, oh, they even kind of played on that real heavy that his first season with the guy that like was targeted by the Dalek antibodies, and he gave him the pill so he could track his remains afterwards.
Yeah. But I thought he'd gotten over all that.
He's definitely better. He seems softer this season, not necessarily in a like the whole like, he's had to change a character, but in like he seems like he's getting older.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they're letting him embrace the age that most people probably like, why is the Doctor so old? Seems like they're kind of letting him embrace the old Doctor instead of being like, he looks old, but he plays guitar and he rides tanks, you know?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see, I'd like to see them do something with Susan before
Oh, yeah.
PCAP is gone.
Because his granddaughter from the first Doctor, because they've made many references to her lately.
In and out of the show, like he's made references to her. Like that's the thing he wants to see.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And she's a Time Lord, so she's...
Could be anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carol Ann Ford is still kicking. So I would love to see them pull in some of these people that are still alive while they're still alive. Kind of like they did with Tom Baker in the 50th. Like Fraser Hines is out there. You could just stop in and it could be a throwaway scene. You could have Jamie. He could just like pop in on Jamie, even though Jamie doesn't even know who he is because of the war games.
Mm-hmm.
That
could
could
be
make...
a guy that he like has haggis with once in a while because they're both Scottish now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That disappoints me. You know they don't. Moffat hasn't done that.
Right.
He seemed...
That's not epic enough. Come on.
It's awesome.
It would be a great scene. It would just be a thing. Like, oh, I gotta go.
It would be great if they had some kind of mission, and while they were there, he just like stops and he's like, "Oh, hey, it's you."
Yeah.
But then, like,
oh yeah, and they don't even say who it is.
Yeah.
And then just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then Fraser Hines is just like, why? He looks familiar to me, even though he's never seen him.
See, they should have us writing this show. God,
Yeah,
it'd be great.
When I always like the idea of bringing back David Tennant as the Valyard, like make David Tennant's crazy clone the Valyard, and that's why he's after. That's why he's after Regenerations, because he doesn't have any of his own. He's half Time Lord.
Yeah,
Oh.
interesting. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, we're good.
we are good. BBC, you should see.
And pay us.
Yep.
Yeah, $1,000. Patreon.com.
All right, let's move off of this because I just remembered letters page segment.
Oh hey,
This episode.
Who's writing this letters?
So we have a letter.
We actually have a letter on our letters page?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So before I get to this letter, if you would like to send us an email, a voicemail, or an MP3 recording of your voice, preferably, you can, you could do two of those three things by emailing us stuff at letters@grawlixpodcast.com. That's letters, as in letters page. Or you can leave a voice message. You can call us at 559-426-6427. That's 559-426-6427. Or 559-4comics. Now, somebody who did one of those things, they sent an email to letters@grawlixpodcast.com, and I'm going to read it to you.
All right.
Let's hear this letter that we got on our letters page for grawlixpodcast.com.
If you can't remember any of that, also, by the way, go to grawlixpodcast.com and click the contact us. That started off as genuine, then I was like, I'm just throwing the URL at him again. All right. We have an email.
Woo!
All right.
The email says, "Hi, I'm Tanner, and I just want to say your videos are awesome, especially your Scribblenauts on Masked videos. I follow you on Twitter, and if you were wondering, should I give their Twitter? I should, right?
Maybe?
And if you were wondering, my Twitter is @IRanOffABridge. Hope you have a good time reading this. Bye!" From Tanner.
At first, I thought maybe that was my nephew Tanner, but that's not his Twitter handle.
Yeah, that thought had kind of crossed my mind too. Thank you, Tanner. I appreciate it. If you don't know what he's talking about, you should, because I'm sure we mention it very often. But we also do some videos on YouTube and stuff. YouTube.com/Grawlix podcast. Specifically, he's mentioning the various Scribblenauts on Masked Let's Play videos I've been doing. They're fun and ridiculous. But thanks, Tanner. I appreciate it. I appreciate the input because he's left a comment on the video itself and then also sent an email. So shout out to you. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Thanks, Tanner.
I will keep those Scribblenauts videos coming until I finally get tired of Lily's interrupting my mission and throw the computer out the window.
Lily gotta go.
Lily, who gave her a bat communicator? That's what I want to know.
Right.
It was Batman.
Are you ready?
Batman.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Oh, it's the worst. But yeah, Scribblenauts, it's a lot of fun. We're not pulling tons of views, but we're getting like nice interactions with people like Tanner here. So it's very nice.
Yep, and it makes me happy that we're Grawlixed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Tanner is a younger gentleman. I know this because I followed him back on Twitter, and he looks like a younger gentleman. So I'm glad, Tanner, that we try not to be too filthy.
Mm-hmm. And don't do anything that we do until you're older.
But go ahead and have fun.
Yep.
Next episode, we will be discussing, for our poll list, our monthly poll list book, we will be discussing Kingdom Come, which is, at this point, like a classic DC Elseworlds graphic novel that I personally have never read before. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
And I read it so long ago that I forgot about it. Like, I forgot what it was about. I thought I was reading the prequel, apparently.
I had not read it, but I now have. I have.
It's gonna be good.
That was perfect. Great delivery on that.
Get ready for that in our next episode. You guys you don't even know.
This is Melanie, and you Grawlix me.
This is Randy. I see my Grawlix all the time. I never liked it. It's all over the place. It's always doing expressions when I'm trying to be enigmatic. I know my Grawlix, and there was something wrong with my Grawlix in the puddle. What could be wrong with your own Grawlix?
And this is Jesse. Ooh, wee, you good looking. You Grawlix.
Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcasts, check out grawlixpodcast.com. Also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, electronicmediacollective.com, Facebook.com/Grawlix Podcast, Twitter.com/Grawlix Podcast, all the .com/all the Grawlix Podcast.
You didn't have a fairy to be like, hey, listen. That's a Zelda joke, guys.
Oh.
Sorry.
We got
That's
it.
okay.
We understand the Zelda jokes. We
Oh,
don't.
okay.
We don't.
I
We don't
don't.
play. We don't.
I never played Zelda.
I was like,
really.
oh, crickets. That's right. You guys don't play Zelda.
No, I'm sorry.
This is a strictly
it's okay.
non-Zelda household.
I play Fable. Is that close enough?
I always play to the room. I forgot.